Welcome everyone.
Hello. Hi all.
Gulshan and Lynn. We're also going to introduce you to a new person today who's going to host the first meditation for us, Paul. I'll hand over to Paul in a moment. Firstly, I just wanted to say our goal today is to have a lovely meditate together, reach a lovely thoughtless state and get refreshed with all the lovely vibrations you can connect with. So we'll have, as usual, our first meditation where we'll strengthen our self-realization, and Paul will tell you a little bit about what that is if it's your first time today. And then we'll have a balancing meditation, and also we're going to talk about one of the energy centers or chakras, which is the Vishuddhi, which is this one at the neck. So we'll talk a little bit about that later after our first meditation session. And then, of course, we also have an excerpt from one of Shri Mataji's talks about the Vishuddhi, this energy centre here, which is responsible for a number of things. So I won't give away too much yet, but first thing I'll do is ask you all to take off your shoes so we can be in contact with the earth, which helps strengthen our meditation. So every little thing will help. If you have any questions, don't forget you can either ask at the end. You can, if you're on YouTube, you can send us a message. And if you're not already on the WhatsApp group, we'll give you that name of that as well at the end in case you want to catch up, because we do put a meditation every day, a short one that you can follow every day, because this is something that will help you progress in your meditation and your personal transformation. But we'll get Paul to tell you a little bit more about that. And so I'm going to vacate my chair and move around with the computer, be the techo person. So if anything goes wrong, it's on me. So Paul, please come and say hi to everyone. I'll just go over here.
Hello, everybody. Well, I don't know how many of you have logged in before into Sahaja Yoga, but I guess the question that we all have when we first come to Sahaja Yoga is, why meditate? Why am I here? What's the meaning of life, even? Well, a meditation is designed to clear your mind and allow you to have a close look at yourself and find out why we are doing things that has negative consequences. It's a way that we can evolve ourselves into a higher state of awareness. And the founder of Sahaja Yoga, Shri Mataji, Nirmala Devi, has given us a blueprint on how we can achieve that. And it's quite simple from the diagram. Can I refer to the diagram?
Yeah.
As you can see here with this diagram, you've got, which is a representation of every human being's subtle system. You've got 3 main channels, as you can see, and you've got 7 main chakras. Now, most of you would have heard that word, that term chakra, which is a Sanskrit word for wheel of energy. And at the base of the spine there's a triangle which represents the sacrum bone, and a coiled entity within that which represents our kundalini, which is our pure desire. Now, a pure desire is a little bit nebulous maybe, but when you think about desire, the whole basis of consumerism and materialism is based on the fact that desires are insatiable. So we buy something new and we want something next day. We see somebody who's got a better version of what we have and we want that. So in Sahaja Yoga, the only desire that is satiable is to achieve our self-realization, to achieve our ascent, because that is permanent. So when we do achieve our self-realization, our pure desire, or the kundalini, rises up through the centre channel and enlightens all these chakras and enlightens all the various positive attributes that you can see labelled there on the chart. Every human being is born differently. We're a set of permutations and combinations of these chakras and also of the left and right side. The left side is a blue channel, and that in every human being is the feminine side. It's the emotional side, it's the past, and it's the side of desire. And that forms a balloon in the right-hand side of the head, which is our conditioning or our superego. The yellow channel is in every human being is the masculine side. It's the side of action, it's the mental and physical side, and it's the future. So if you look closely at yourself when you're thinking, you'll notice that there's only two types of thoughts you can have. One about the past and one about the future. If you're not thinking at all, you are in the present. So the left and right side form they cross over, as you can see, and they slowly form, they calcify the top of the head, which was a soft spot as a baby. And that's symbolic of the fact that as we grow older from a child, we develop our ego and our conditionings. Now, the whole idea of ego and conditionings is that they can take over our personality. They control our personality, the way we think, the way we behave, because our conditioning is dependent on, to a large extent, on the religion we were born into, the family we were born into, and the country we were born into. So we have a conditioning, and according to that conditioning, we should behave in a certain way. The ego, of course, which has become much more visible in recent times, is the I-ness, the idea that I would like to have power and control and money and ambitions and all the rest of it. When these get out of control, the left and the right side, then it's very difficult for us to escape the prison of this sort of thinking. The only one way to escape it, to rise above it, is to stop thinking. And the whole idea of self-realisation is to take your attention above the brain, above the ego and conditioning, and above the thoughts of the future and the thoughts of the past. And then we can watch ourselves, watch others, watch the country, watch the world, and we can see the many problems that there are around us. But to solve these problems, the best way is to first solve the problems within ourselves. So what we might do is, there's a few other things in that diagram too that you may be familiar with, and the chakras are colour-coded to the fingers. And what we can do after some time of meditating, we can feel sensations on our fingers and our hands, which you'll probably learn about at a later date, but that can tell us where our main problems are. But the other way of doing that is to introspect when you're in thoughtless awareness and ask yourself, why did I just do that? Why do I behave like this? And you should, after some time, come up with an answer. So I think what we'll do, we'll go straight into the self-realisation process, and hopefully we can all achieve thoughtless awareness and start to feel certain sensations like coolness on the palm of the hand. So if we can take off our glasses and just sit comfortably on the floor or in a chair with our hands on our lap, we can close our eyes, take our attention inside. Now we'll ask certain questions of ourselves inside. So we'll start off with putting our right hand, which is the side of action, on our heart. And here we ask the question of ourselves, of our Kundalini inside us, of our pure desire inside us. And we can ask this, call this a mother, because it's a mothering, nurturing energy within us. It's always wanting to look after us. So we can say, Mother Kundalini, am I the spirit? Am I the pure spirit? Then we take our hand down to the rib cage, just below the rib cage on the left-hand side, in our stomach area. And here we ask the question, Mother Kundalini, am I my own master? Am I my own teacher? Am I my own guru? Am I my own master? Now we can take our hand down to the left side of our hip, where our left leg joins the hip. This is the centre of pure knowledge, pure intuitive knowledge, rather than the bookish knowledge that we learn at school. So here we ask the question, it's also the centre of our pure knowledge and our pure desire. So here we can ask the question, or we can ask for, the pure knowledge of ourself. So Mother Kundalini, please may I have the pure knowledge of myself. Please give me the pure knowledge. Now we take a hand back up to the left side of the stomach, below the rib cage, and here we affirm our previous questions. And here we say, Mother Kundalini, I am my own guru. I am my own master. And I am my own teacher. And we just repeat that several times quietly to ourselves. I am my own master. Now we take our hand up to our heart, and again we affirm our previous question. I am the pure spirit. I am more than this body, more than this ego, conditionings and emotions. I am the pure spirit. Now take your hand to the left side of the neck and turn your head a little to the right. This centre can block when we feel guilty. So all we do here is just say, Mother Kundalini, I am not guilty. I am not guilty of anything at all. I am not guilty. Just say it with confidence. I am not guilty. Now we take a hand up to our forehead and just push the forehead down a little into the palm of the hand. Here we have to forgive. The best way to let go of everything, of anything and everything, is to forgive. All our problems, all our worries. So here we ask, Mother Kundalini, I forgive everybody, everything, and I forgive myself. Say that a number of times from the heart. I forgive everybody, everything, and I forgive myself. I forgive and let go of all injustices to me. I forgive. Now take your hand to the back of the head and push your head back a little into the palm of your hand. And here we ask for forgiveness in general. And we can say, Mother Kundalini, please forgive me for all the mistakes I have made knowingly and unknowingly against my own spirit. Please forgive me for all the mistakes I have made. Now finally we take our hand up to the top of the head, which was a soft spot as a baby, bend our fingers a little, and as we rotate our scalp a little clockwise in a circular motion, here we simply ask for our self-realisation. And we can say, Mother Kundalini, please give me my self-realisation as you're rotating your hand in a clockwise direction. Just say that a number of times. Or we can say, if you've had your self-realisation, you can say, Mother, please strengthen my self-realisation. Please strengthen my self-realisation. Then we take our hand down on our lap and we'll just sit quietly for a few minutes with our attention on the top of the head. If any thoughts come in, just say, I forgive this thought. Or you can say, not this thought. Just watch it like you would a TV show and it should fade away. I forgive these thoughts. Keep your attention on the top of the head. Now you can just open your eyes. And without thinking, just take your hand up above the top of your head and just see if you can feel a subtle, cool or warm breeze on the palm of your hand. And try with your other hand as well.
Thank you, Paul. That was lovely. And now we are going to do a little exercise. You can stay here, Paul, if you like. It's all right. We're going to now do a little bit of a thing called clearing, which is about bringing your chakras into balance. As Paul mentioned about if we overuse the left or the right side, we tend to go out of balance. So once you come home, having spent your day outside dealing with colleagues, difficult bosses, and all those situations, how to bring yourself into balance, which means if you've spent a very hectic day, but then it's time to let go of that busy angst from yourself. And if you've had a very difficult, slow, lethargic day, then you need to get out of that too and to come into balance. And this is something we would really like you to do every day in the evening or in the morning to just bring yourself into balance. And it's no more than 5 minutes, and we are going to do it right now. And hopefully also once we've finished doing this, you may feel a little stronger in your hands. So something on the palms. Usually you feel a little bit of cool, very gentle breath, like cool air. And if you do happen to feel warm, that's okay too, because as the Kundalini rises and she's cleansing the chakras, the debris, and clearing them out, you do feel a little bit of heat. And as Paul did mention about each of our fingertips being associated with our chakra as well. So if you do happen to feel any tingling sensation on either of your fingertips, that's okay, because now your fingers will try and communicate with you. So they're telling you there's a little problem here. And then we'll also talk a little bit about the fifth chakra within us. But before we go any further, we will show you to raise your Kundalini the shorter way. Paul took us the important, which is the first one we do, but now there's an easier step, so you can do that quite easily. So this is by using a hand. So the left hand comes in front of us at the base of our first chakra. The right hand rotates around it in a clockwise direction again. Bring it in and out. Watch your left hand. As it comes up to the top of your head, we tie a knot. That's first knot for the first channel, and then we have two other channels. So second time, watch your attention as your left hand comes up, 2 times, 2 knots. And for the third one, we will tie 3 knots on top of the head. This is for the 3 channels that are within us, the blue, the yellow, and the central channel. And now again, using our right hand, because that's the hand of action, starting from the left side over to the top of your head, to the right and back. That's 1, and we're going to do that 7 times for the 7 chakras. So this is number 3 for the Nabi, number 4 for the heart, and 5th for the Vishuddhi, which is on our throat, 6th for the Agya on our forehead, and number 7 on top of our head. So this is also called as a bandhan, which is a Sanskrit word, or a bond of protection around us. And now really easy. If you're, again, you can sit wherever you like in a very comfortable way. You can watch photo of Shri Mataji if you wish to keep your eyes open. Watch a bindi, that's very settling. Or you can close your eyes. So to clear our left side, it's really easy. We just drop our right hand towards the earth. And here I will close my eyes because it just helps me to bring the attention inside. We take our attention on top of our head. And here we ask our mothering energy, the Kundalini, or you can also request Shri Mataji to please take away all the excessive heaviness and the darkness and the lethargy from the left side into the earth through the right hand. Mother Kundalini, please clear all the negative energy that is stored or that I have built up. Please let it be cleared through the right hand into the earth. Mother Kundalini, please establish and enhance positive qualities in my left side. And our positive qualities of the left side primarily are a desire, and the desire to connect with our mothering energy, the Kundalini, and also to be the spirit. So attention on top of her head, and see how you feel on your left hand. If you feel any tingling sensation on either of your fingers, that's okay. Just take a note of which finger it is, and if you wish to talk about it later, we're happy to. But for now, just watch. And let all the negative energy be released into the earth through the right hand. And now to clear the right side, we bring our right hand on our lap, and the left hand, you just raise it from the elbow up towards the sky. So we are going to use the ether element to clear our right side. It's just requesting Shri Mataji or Mother Kundalini to please take away all my thoughts, all the rushing, all the excessive heat that I have accumulated today. Please let it all be released from my right side into the air through the left hand. Allow the excessive heat to be released, Mother Kundalini, so I can be in balance. Please take away all my over-planning, overthinking, all my rushing and worrying about the future. And we keep our attention on top of our head. Bring our left hand down to our lap. Mother Kundalini, please give me balance of vibrations in both my hands. And please take away all the negative energy from the central channel. Please clear my central channel. Mother Kundalini, please rise and let me feel your connection within me. And just very briefly, we are going to use our right hand, bring it in front of you and just raise it up a couple of times and raise your attention to the top of your head. And yes, very briefly, we are going to go into a very short meditation, but I hope it's enough for you to notice a certain difference between the first and the second meditation. So our attention is going to be on top of our head, eyes closed or watching Shri Mataji. And if you do have thoughts come, let the thought come and let it float away past our head and let it go. So we're not going to attach ourselves to our thoughts. So let the thought come, let the thought go. Just raise your Kundalini again to the top of your head and place your attention up there. And we're going to go into short meditation. Just watching that space on top of our head. So if you just slowly open your eyes, you can hear things around you, you probably can't see things, but if you just watch for a moment and take note, your thoughts have stopped and you feel a certain calm within yourself and your breathing does slow down a little bit. But more importantly, if you felt you had that empty space without any thoughts when we were in meditation, that is being in thoughtless awareness, that is being in meditation, or as we call in the modern world, achieving mental silence as well. So this is one of the gifts of when the Kundalini as she rises. And this is again a very short meditation, so quality matters, not quantity. And we will show you again how to work on that. But I believe now Lynn has a beautiful talk for us from Shri Mataji, the founder. She traveled around the world and she gave talks on various chakras, and she would address halls full of masses of people and give them their realization en masse. And it's really nice to listen to her because often she has so many interesting things that she talks about, and often a lot of questions in her heart which we're holding on to. She answers them through her talk. So while that comes on, please keep your hands open and enjoy listening to Shri Mataji.
Our Vishuddhi Chakra. If we have to keep our Vishuddhi Chakra all right, we have two sides, as you know, is the left and the right. So the right side is the Vishuddhi Chakra, which is speaking, which is talking about dharma, which is on the aggressive side, we can say. Now those people who are aggressive, who talk in an aggressive manner, who are, say, trying to dominate others by their talks, are the people who are right-sided. I have shown people, those who really do wrong things. Say a person, a servant, steals something. You call him, he'll be so rude to you that you'll be amazed. This man is so rude, how can have been able to steal something? He's not afraid, he's answering you back so nicely. So those people who are right-sided can cover up any sin that they have committed, any wrong they have done, any murder they have done by their talk. It could be a talk which is very aggressive, blatant. People might think, oh, how can that be? This man is telling so loudly everything, and you are stunned. And you think, no, it's not possible. How can a person who says this? In this way, we too, as ordinary human beings, indulge into all kinds of nonsensical things, and then we try to justify it by talking, wriggling out of it. You know, as many criminals, war criminals, have come out of it by just talking, by creating stories, by showing something like that. That also is with all human beings, they have this capacity to say something by which to hide whatever wrong you are doing. But it is never realized by them that whatever harm you have done is not going to be forgiven and will be less forgiven when you talk like this. Because Shri Krishna is punished. If you start justifying, rationalizing all your wrong things, then you will be punished. And you will be punished very badly in so many ways that you will not know how to get it out of it. Physically, mentally, emotionally, every way you will be. So our right Vishuddhi, we have to have a temperament, a culture, a style, a behavior, which has got the quality of Sri Krishna, which is called as Madhurya, means melodious. Melodious. You should talk in such a manner that it should be melodious. The person who listens to you listens as if he is listening to the flute of Sri Krishna. The voice of a Sahaja should be sweet, like that. When you talk to someone, it should be melodious. It should not be aggressive at all, but on the contrary, it should be melodious. It should not be sarcastic. It should not hurt another person. Any word that hurts others cannot be coming from the proper type of right Vishuddhi. So in no way one should hurt. I wish all the Sahajogis develop that melodious voice of Sri Krishna as their Vishuddhi is awakened. Madhurya, in his behavior, Madhurya is, see, while talking to someone, there are so many gestures by which you can express your Madhurya. For example, especially in Italy and other places, I have seen people use too much of their hands. This is also Sri Krishna's style. So they use their hands in such a way that sometimes you don't understand what they are meaning. And sometimes it can be quite aggressive also, the way they use their hands. Now the hands must be used in such a way that it should create madhurya. I have seen this in Russia, or especially in Eastern blocs, where people, they have to express their love, just put like this. You have to say namaste. The whole expression is so sweet, and also their heart is very full when they see me. So they don't know how to express it. So they just put their hands like this. Or they feel shy, they do like this. Very, very sweet things they express through their hands, through their eyes. It is the tears, see, that really create such clouds of, I should say, very dense clouds of compassion in my heart. When I see their eyes expressing their love for me. Everything, the tears, everything, that's the face, the eyes, the hands, all this belong to Shri Krishna. So in their behavior, in their talking, how they express themselves. You can use the same eyes for showing your temper and getting angry. Many people use eyes for controlling others. They'll put their eyes like this, stare at someone, try to control. They may use their eyes also for condemning someone. Also sometimes they use sort of spit at someone or try to show the tongue to insult someone. So in the behavior also, we must have a kind of a sweetness. Like when I went to England first, I learnt English in my own way, but when I went there newly, they said, now if you have to say a word like thought, you must say thought. I said, what? You must take out your tongue and say thought. I said, it's absurd. Why should you take out your tongue? He said, unless until you take out your tongue like that, it's not something proper expression. So I said, this is English, you have developed some nonsensical thing to show tongue at everyone. Even a child, when he gets angry, automatically he shows his tongue. So you see, all these expressions are, and making faces. Now, as they say that stiff upper lip, you must have heard about that. With the nose like that, you see, snooty nose, or a face where you just make your faces and make a crooked face just to tease someone, or to make an expression out of your nose. Also people do it like this, you see, to show as if you are sneezing at that person. All these things, expressions are coming out of Sri Krishna's grace. But the power of that is madhurya, is the sweetness, the melodiousness. The rapport should be so sweet that that rapport should create tremendous joy and tremendous happiness. As you have heard the song of Baba Mama's, On My Eyes, only I looked at him, I says with that glance, that generated that beautiful music in him. So, as far as possible, try to put your eyes on the greenery, that's the best. Then it soothes down, and also you develop the soothing quality of the greenery. I always tell people that better see the greenery around, how it soothes your eyes. In the same way, you should try to soothe the other person when you talk to that person. The person must melt. Instead of that, if you start arguing and fighting with that person will never melt. On the contrary, you will be adding fire, more fire to that person. That was the quality of Sri Krishna, is the madhurya. And that is expressed in his lifetime, how he beautifully managed to say things in his own sweetness, especially in his childhood. The another quality which Sri Krishna has, which we can express through our right Vishuddhi, is diplomacy. But there are two types of diplomacies. One is genuine, one is artificial. In the genuine diplomacy, you do not have to take to a certain standard, or you don't have to read some books to know how it is diplomacy. Is it genuinely it comes to you. The whole thing works very sweetly in such a genuine manner. I have used it many a times myself, and you all can use it also many a times. That's only possible if you don't get angry with someone. Not possible if you are angry. Now there's a story I have told you about some, this Gagangad Maharaj, I went to meet him, and he was very angry because he could not stop the rain. He was supposed to stop the rain, and I was all drenched. And he was so angry, and he said that, is it my ego you were trying to control? And like that he started a little bit fighting with me. I said, no, that's not the reason. He said, why? Why did you not allow me to stop the rain? You are all drenched. I said, because you are a sannyasi and you bought a sari for me. I would not take a sari from a sannyasi. So I had to get drenched for your sake. The whole thing finished off. The whole anger, temper finished off. This is how we have to melt people. The diplomacy is not convincing anybody with his intellect or by temper or anything, but it is to melt away another person by your goodness, by your good words, by your sweet works, by your forgiving nature. This quality he had, and he tried this on many people. It worked on some, it did not work on some. He didn't feel it's a failure. It's the reaction of the another person which is important to be seen. So this quality of right Vishuddhi you should have is to talk to others and melt them away. I hope in America people develop this quality and try to improve relations with each other.
Thank you, Lynn. That was a lovely talk, and we had Shri Mataji explain beautifully about the qualities of Vishuddhi and how in our human relationships we deal with each other and our characteristics as well. The only thing I can add to that lovely talk is pointer fingers is where our Vishuddhi chakra is located or corresponds to. So, for instance, if you feel either of your pointer fingers tingling, that means you have a little blockage on either, if it's the right finger on the right side, and if it's the left one on the left side. And for the left one, if you feel a little bit of tingling, it's because you may be feeling guilty. Sometimes we tend to just have that habit of taking on the guilt, even though we haven't done anything to cause it. So it's time to let go of the guilt. If you notice your right pointer finger tingling, then it's time to try and use sweetness in your words and let go of the aggression or the anger that we feel. Those are the extremes of the personalities on the sides of our neck to let go so that we can come into balance. Before we finish, maybe we should go into another meditation. So, Paul, would you like to lead us through another short meditation? And if we're very lucky, we may even have some music with it. And then we will show you how to finish the meditation at the end.
Okay, so if we just sit comfortably with our hands on our lap. Now, the whole idea of meditation is to try to get into thoughtless awareness. If you don't get into thoughtless awareness and you're having thoughts, then you're still at the mental level. And the whole idea is to go beyond the mind. So we just take our attention up the top of the head. If you like, you can just rub the top of your head like you did before. Just take your attention up there. And put your hand back on your lap. So with the attention on the top of your head, just try and enjoy the silence. And as thoughts come in, just forgive those thoughts. Just watch them. And that gap between the two thoughts should slowly increase, a period of silence. If thoughts come in, not this thought. I forgive this thought. And attention on the top of the head. You can even lift your attention a few centimetres above the top of your head if you can. And enjoy the silence. If thoughts creeping back in, you can open your eyes and look at the candle, or you can take your attention back up, keep your attention at the top of the head and just try and witness the thoughts. Not this thought. And then when you're ready, you can open your eyes. And the thing to remember about thoughts is any thoughts of the future represents the right side, the ego, and any thoughts of the past represents the conditionings. So to get above our conditionings and our ego, we have to be in thoughtless awareness.
And now, to finish up, we will go through the process of raising a Kundalini and place ourselves in a bandhan. So left hand rises up nice and slow, watching your left hand. Bring it up to the top of your head and we tie a knot. Second time, we will tie 2 knots on top of our head. And 3 knots for the third time. And then the bandhan, the bond of protection over the top of your head to the right and back. That's 1, and we shall do that 7 times for the 7 chakras on our body. The third one is for the Nabhi chakra, for your heart, for Vishuddhi on your throat, forehead, and the top of your head, the Sahasrara. There's a very interesting point Paul just raised, which was good to keep an eye when you're trying to meditate. If you're thinking about the future or you're thinking about the past, and that sort of gives you an idea of where you're at. And the idea is not to be on either of those 2 extremes. So try and not get entangled with those thoughts. You don't want to talk start planning your next year's holiday or what happened last year. So the idea is to be in thoughtless awareness where you're aware of your surroundings, but you're not thinking. And that's the short meditation. We would really like you to try and do it every night if you can, and just a few minutes in the morning. And if you have any questions, please type away. We have Lynn as well here, and she can help us answer questions, as well as Paul. He's pretty good at responding to queries. So, and if you'd like to unmute yourself, if Lynn will give you the powers, that is, you can talk to us. And on viewers on YouTube, apologies, we can't actually communicate, but if you'd like to join online, you're very welcome. If you have any questions, please do join us online, or you can send your queries as well, and then can respond. And we hope you had a good meditation and you could feel something on your fingertips, and if nothing else, at least you felt a certain silence or peace within yourself. So it's often the experience within us that we retain, and we know that something actually happened.
So you have got the ability to unmute yourself or just put a message in the chat now, I believe. I think I'm giving you that power. So that was a very nice meditation. Thanks, everyone.
Yes, a lovely talk.
Yes,
so beautifully explains about the Vishuddhi chakra.
And so an interesting point about that video as well, Shri Mataji was talking about Sri Krishna. So each of the energy centers or chakras, there's an incarnation or a divine being who encapsulates the qualities of that center. And so you'll find that's very interesting when you get to some of those talks. Where,
and they came at a certain point of step of evolution to fire into the next
so many things about
step, so to speak.
Yes, a quantum leap into the next awareness.
So next week is going to be really interesting.
Yes, so next week is the brain center. So and we'll leave it till next week to discuss who's the incarnation for that centre.
Right. Yes.
You can probably guess if you're from a Western country. So I hope you enjoyed that. That was very nice. I did. Paul, thank you for that meditation. It's always good to have somebody different presented.
And they have different ideas and lovely way of explaining, so there's a lot to learn. Thank you, Paul.
Thank you. No problems.
You can come again anytime.
Yes.
It was my first time today. It was a little bit different speaking to a camera.
True.
Usually we have people sitting here.
So and Eric here too. Hi, Eric. Because bit of a he had to be at home isolating, but he's joined us online. But otherwise, he was all set to be here in person. I'm sure lots of others of you might be able to come in person next time. It's always nice. We've got a few people here in person. Eric, you're unmuted. Feel free to talk away.
Thanks very much.
Oh, good. Thanks for joining, Eric. It's a little bit hard to hear you. Maybe you can turn the volume up a bit.
Okay, now Eric, try again, please.
Oh, okay. Can you hear you all right now?
Yes, it's very far away, but we can kind of hear you.
Yeah, okay. Look, I haven't got my microphone plugged in, so
we lost you there.
Okay, can you hear me?
Oh,
Hear me
yes.
better now?
Nice.
Okay. Yes, I didn't have my earphones in, so look, thanks very much for this evening.
How was the experience online this time as compared to last week in person?
Oh, look, it's better to be there in person, because it's a much more sort of remote experience this way. But,
everyone who's on.
I don't want to give anyone COVID.
No, we hope to see you next week in person. It will.
Hopefully I'll be
I'll
be okay by then.
Yeah, that'll be nice.
Yep.
Great.
Yeah.
All right, that's great. Well, thanks very much.
Thank you for
thanks
joining.
Eric. It was very, very nice. And thank you also to Rania Barn and Eva, who are also there on Zoom, and also whoever's on YouTube. Thank you also for joining. We got the vibe, even if we can't see you.
We hope to see you next Monday, same time.
Yes.
Have a good week.
We meditate on the Nagya and reinforce our self-realization a little bit more as well. So I'll put on the music and slides to finish off with, and we'll all say good night. But feel free to just
good night, everybody.
meditate.
Yep, good night.
Good night.
Night. Bye.
Bye.
Just going to share.
So how many was it? And there wasn't a Joyanne there. Oh, so just
Thanks for joining. We're going to end the meeting now. See you next time. Come again.